Before start to retopology a game asset, you need to decide how much you want to make your mesh low poly. Because nowadays the number of polygons isn't that much important, and it mostly depends on the environment and the style you work in. For example, if you look at these pictures from the game Dishonored 1, you can see that the models are super low poly. So if your game looks like this, you need to reduce the number of polygons a lot for two reasons. First, to have the same look, and second, to have an optimized scene. But if you want to get a high quality asset, you don't need to reduce the number of polygons a lot, because if you look at these pictures from the game Lies of P, you can see that they are using polygons everywhere. And if you look at these brick walls, you can see they have details. So now you want to retopology this game asset, but I won't make it that much low poly. Okay, I press A to choose everything, Shift D to duplicate everything, and then right click to cancel the movement, and then I press M to create a new collection, and I call this HP, and it means my high poly collection. And then again I duplicate everything, right click, M, new collection, and this time LP. And now I have my backup collection, high poly files, low poly files, and I just hide these two collections and start with the largest part. I decrease the subdivision level to 1 and apply it. Then just look at it from the front view, go to the edit mode and wireframe mode, delete the half of this, and delete the extra edge loops, like these two edge loops, this edge loop, and maybe some of these, this one, and on the back side I delete these, maybe this one, and okay. Now I think it's okay. It has 253 faces, and I can use mirror modifier to get the other half. And now this part, again, subdivision level 1, apply it, delete the half of this, and start to delete the extra edge loops, like this ones, these two edge loops, and these edge loops, these three edge loops, and maybe this one, okay, and these three edge loops. As you can see, I need 3 edge loops to get this shape here, but I don't want to have these 3 edge loops from this point on. So the thing I can do is to choose these 2 edges, and then I press X to collapse it, and then I press Ctrl Alt click on this edge, and in this way I can choose this edge ring, and I also press Shift Ctrl Alt click to choose this edge ring as well, and then I collapse it. I do the same here, X collapse, Ctrl Alt click, Shift Ctrl Alt click, and X collapse. And here in this part I want to delete the same edge loops that I deleted in the previous model here as well. So choose these 3 edge loops, delete them, then I do the same on this top part, and now I can add mirror modifier, and this has 212 faces. Okay, I want to have this frame in my normal map, but before I delete it, I chose this plane behind this frame and go to the edit mode, press Alt S and just move it to front of this. And now I can delete this frame. I don't need to do anything in this part. Okay, now let's retopology this part. I want to have these holes in my normal map except these two parts. So I just chose these faces and press Ctrl plus P selection so I can separate them. Another part I want to separate is this face loop. Choose it, Shift D, P selection. Now I can delete this part. As I said, I want to have this part in my normal map, so I just delete it and fill this, delete these edges, and I want to grid fill this edge loop, so I just choose it, press F3 and search for grid fill and just choose it. And as you can see, it doesn't work because I don't have enough edges in this part, so I add 3 edges. As you can see, I have 3 edges on this top part, so I add 3 edges on this part. Again, I choose this front edge loop, F3, grid fill, and it works correctly. Okay, now let's boolean these shapes from this one. So I add boolean modifier and choose these objects. Maybe we need to change it to fast. Okay, now apply it, delete these meshes, and now you want to fix the topology here, so make sure that you enable this, and then I press double G to move this here, and it will automatically merge because of this. And now double G here, double G, and on this part, maybe we can delete some of these vertices. Okay, X, and delete them. At the edge loop here, just move it here and merge it. And on this part, I think it's better to add an edge loop here. Press K to use knife tool, add edge here, and then we can select these 2 vertices and press J. And on this part I just choose it, right click, poke face, then I just choose this vertex and press double G to move it here, and on this part I just merge these vertices also in this part. Okay, and now everything is okay. Now I choose these edge loops and extrude them on the y-axis, but I don't know how much I need to move it back, so let's just unhide this hyperlink collection, and then I press G, Y and snap it here. As you can see, I've changed this snapping part to vertex, and now I can hide this hyperlink collection and press F to fill this edge loops and poke this face. Okay, now these little parts, I think it's better to remove the subdivision surface and delete these edge loops, maybe this edge ring, and add mark sharp to these edge loops. Now I just need to look at it from behind, duplicate and move this low poly mesh. And now I can delete this high poly models. The only part left is these volume knobs, and I apply this in subdivision level 1. Then I delete these two circle parts because I'm gonna have them in normal map. And as you can see, these two parts are separated parts, but I don't want to have these like this. So the thing I can do is to merge these parts. But how can I do this? I think I can choose these and press Shift H and delete these faces and these faces. And also on this part I delete these faces. Now I can press A to choose the whole mesh and press M and by distance, because let's just see, it doesn't work correctly because there is some distance between these two parts. I can choose these two edge loops, right click and bridge edge loop, and let's do the same on the other parts. And I choose these faces, press M, add center. Now I want to delete one edge ring, so I just choose these edges, Control Shift plus, and as you can see, I've added this edge loops select and edge ring select to my quick favorites. You can add them from this edge part, and actually this select part and these select loops, and here you can find them. You just need to right click and add it to quick favorites. Okay, now I choose these edge rings, but as you can see, it doesn't work correctly. I think there's a problem on these parts. Let's find out. Okay, as you can see, there is an extra face loop here, so I just delete it. And let's check the other parts. And here we have those extra faces. And now I think I can choose these edge loops and delete them. Now we can easily just delete these extra edge loops. So and in the end we just need to mark sharp these edge loops. And this is the way you retopology a game asset. As you can see now, it has over 3000 faces and it's okay for a game asset. But if you want to, you can reduce the number of polygons a lot by removing these edges. There is one thing I need to mention. As you can see, this model, for example, it looks like it has some shading problems. So to fix this, you can add this weighted normal modifier. And as you can see, it'll fix it a lot. Or in this part, for example, again we have some shading problems, so I add the same modifier and I add it in this part, this frame, and this leg parts. Okay, now as you can see, it looks much better. In the next part, I'm gonna unwrap this radio. Thanks for watching. See you in the next part.